Walter Rossman, Chief Operating Officer.
Hi, I'm Alexander Abbey. I'm the Assistant City Attorney.
John Kawada, Staff Liaison.
Yusra Aru.
Could you tell us also what school you go to? See, green is on. I had the red button, so green is on.
I'm a senior at Archbishop Mitty High School.
Okay.
I'm a senior at Santa Clara High School.
My name is Bella Jimenez, and I go to Mission College.
My name is Jasmine Kelly Tanti, and I'm an 8th grader at Cabrillo.
I'm Caroline Close. I'm the Youth Commission Chair, and I go to Wilcox High School.
I'm Vincent Close, Youth Commissioner. I go to Wilcox High School.
I'm Adrienne Kurkavicto, Youth Commissioner, and I go to Santa Clara High.
My name is Kayla Fan, and I go to Santa Clara High.
I'm Sia Sharma. I'm currently a junior at St. Francis High School.
I'm Smriti Suresh, and I'm a sophomore at Wilcox High School.
I'm Mira Suresh, and I go to Cupertino High School.
I'm Natasha Yen, and I'm a sophomore at the Harker School.
I'm Sanjana Yermanani, and I'm a junior at Wilcox High School.
I'm Raksha Sen, and I'm a junior at St. Francis High School.
I'm Damara Madriaga. I'm a senior at Santa Clara High School.
I'm Pat Kolstad. I'm the world's nicest city councilman.
The only city councilman up here.
Kathy Watanabe. I'm the Vice Mayor of the City of Santa Clara, and some of you may know me as Kaylee Watanabe's mom.
Debbie Davis, City of Santa Clara Council Member, and ladies, I see you're in control.
Well, welcome. It's great to have you here. And I guess we can start with Carolyn. Would you like to tell us about what you've been working on and what you're hoping to work on this year?
Thank you, Mayor and Council and staff, for having us. We are very excited to talk to you tonight. So first, a few things we accomplished last term. In our 2017 to 2018 term year, we had an inclusive makerspace where we teamed up with therapeutics in Santa Clara, and it was geared toward including all ages with disabilities and without disabilities at the library, and we held different STEM activities for them, and it was a very successful event. We had around 200 people, thanks to the hard work of Bella, our chair for that committee, and the other youth commissioners on that committee as well. So we are hoping to possibly continue that into our work plan this year. Last year, we offered 8 Sunset Cinemas at different locations, each time in partnership with the Library and Parks and Recreation, and we generated a lot of money for our Community Service Scholarship Fund. We hosted a food booth at Art and Wine, the Children's Halloween Party, and tree lighting, also benefiting the Community Service Scholarship Fund. And we attended the YES Conference for Environmental Sustainability, and Yak Attack, which is another youth leadership conference. So this is what we did last year, and this year we are in the process, or right now we are in the process of coming up with our work plan for this coming term. So some common themes we have identified are fostering inclusiveness, health and wellness, youth and government, environmentalism. So tonight, after we meet with you and we get some input on our ideas, we're hoping to cement those ideas and turn them into events or activities where we can kind of link together these themes.
So did you want to take those ideas one by one and talk about them and what your ideas are for this upcoming year? I couldn't get them all down, but
yeah,
like
and I can repeat them slowly too.
Health and welfare. And
yeah, so
wellness.
Fostering inclusiveness, we have 2 sub-themes of that. So the first one would be intergenerational, where we are a youth commission, but we want all of our events to benefit the community as a whole. So bridging the gap between youth and teens, and from all generations, from youth and teens to the seniors. So focusing on connecting the different generations, and also multicultural awareness. So we're hoping to also expand on partnerships this year with different departments in the city. So the Cultural Commission could be one partnership we do. And then in terms of health and wellness, we stop
there before you go on to that one. So I've had the opportunity to attend the most recent Senior Advisory Commission meeting, and they talked about doing combining different events with the Youth Commission. Have you had any discussions about particular events that I think there was a dance they may have talked about, or some other things?
So actually, Bella, if you wouldn't mind talking about the intergenerational discussion that we're planning.
So last term, we discussed an intergenerational panel discussion where the idea was we would have 3 seniors on one side of the panel and 3 teens on the other side of the panel, and we would kind of go back and forth. We were thinking originally of having it kind of as an event for the public to attend, and then we thought of kind of scaling it down so we can just meet with the maybe some youth commissioners and some individuals from the senior commission. And the idea was to bridge the gap between the generations and kind of bring an awareness to different, how do I say this, different things that we haven't experienced as youth that an older person may have experienced as. So some of our general ideas were technology, development, as in housing and stuff like that, and freedoms. So those are just some ideas that we had.
Oh, good. You can talk. You guys jump in anytime.
Oh, we can jump in anytime?
Yes.
I really like the senior idea because they really want to work with you, and especially on the wellness fair that they have. They were looking for assistance, and they want to talk to you because you're the new generation, and I think the word you were looking for is wisdom. They have wisdom. And because I'm in that middle ground right now, but it's good. They don't know a lot about IT. They want to know everything that's going on there, what interests you. And I just think the open dialogue between both you guys would be very interesting to see that you are a lot alike in some areas and others. And if it's not your parents talking to you and someone else's, you're going to listen for some reason. You know, I don't know what that is, but some kind of generational thing. I really like that idea, and I think that Bella, you did a really good job. I think you handled that one very well. But if you have that discussion, can we come? Because we would love to see how that, comes out.
We would love to have you guys join us for the discussion. We would like to highlight the similarities and differences between the 2 age groups. So I think it's something that everyone can add their own voice to the discussion. So everyone is welcome to come.
Have you contacted the senior center already to organize a meeting? Do you need contact information?
We reached out and contacted the individuals from the senior commission, but we will be, if that's something that the commission as a whole decides that we would like to pursue, we will be doing that in the future.
Great, yeah, because I know they meet on a Monday, usually Monday at
They meet at like
10 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock in the morning, which is not going to work for any of you.
Guys, yeah.
So they would have to come up with maybe one of your regular meeting nights when you meet during the month.
Right. Yeah.
Or do you meet after school?
Usually 5 or 6 p.m.
6 o'clock on Tuesdays. And they're doing a lot. We're now an age-friendly city, so they're doing a lot with the age-friendly program. And they need help with a lot of things, and they really want to engage with you on a lot of things. So, and they're really, really active. They have a lot of really good ideas. Yeah, they're very active. So we would recommend reaching out to them and working on some kind of combined meeting. I think you'll find a huge benefit for meeting with them, and they would find a huge benefit meeting with you on that. And then the health and wellness fair that Councilmember Davis talked about is that's a daytime weekday event. It's on a Friday. In May. Or is it on a Saturday?
It was Saturday, moved to Friday.
Oh, they moved it to Friday, so maybe that's something they can move again back to a Saturday. To get more participation, but it's a wonderful health and wellness event, and they did the Lions Club did free hearing screening, eyes, and was it eye and dental this year? And last year was hearing. They do free screenings for people, so so it's an opportunity to think about. Teresa, oh, okay. And so you had, I'm sorry, I interrupt you, health and wellness?
Yeah, so health and wellness, a big part is obviously physical health, so that's a great idea to reach out to the senior commission and see what they're doing in terms of testing. But another big concern for youth and teens is mental health. With all the stress going on in schools, people really need to find their different outlets, whatever they may be. So one idea that we have in terms of helping with mental health is creative expression. So we're looking to find a good format, whether it be an event or an activity where we're promoting creative expression and opening dialogue so people can talk about their feelings and let go of their stress. So if any of you have any ideas or suggestions in terms of what you would like to see, we would appreciate that.
Are you talking about a particular event or some kind of ongoing resource area for students that are feeling?
So in the past, Youth Commission has been very event-oriented, where all of the projects we've had have mostly been big events. But we're starting to talk about, yes, we will still do events, but how else can we have a continued discussion? So not just one time throughout the term, and maybe more of an ongoing thing where there's a greater presence of the issue. So moving past events, we hope to do some activities that will engage people on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis.
So are you using the YAC or the community center? What are you using for your events? Or is it in various places?
We have them in various places. So our 5K was in Central Park a year and a half ago. And then we've had the Inclusive Makerspace, that was at the library, and we do also a lot of our Sunset Cinemas in partnership with the library and Parks and Rec. So we really are utilizing all of the different city buildings.
So if you're looking at maybe some kind of maybe monthly opportunity or for students to come that are feeling the pressure, I agree with you. There's just a lot of, there's mental health issues for so many reasons for students being under so much pressure all the time. Maybe some kind of consistent space somewhere with some kind of program. Maybe you can start looking at some of our city facilities to have, ongoing resources available for those students to feel safe, that they can be in a place that, can help them with issues that maybe are away from their school, that they can, go to with their friends or by themselves to talk to someone, and maybe partner up with some kind of a nonprofit or some kind of resource specialist. But looking at a physical location, I think, is important.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I know the Bill Wilson Center provides some, support. I know they are funded through, well, the city provides funding to them, but also through the school district. But, so maybe there's some other component to that you could look at, or even, in some places they have, peer-to-peer counseling that, might be very helpful for a lot of your friends. And
it should be a place that's easy to get to, centrally located, easy to get to, although maybe the Bill Wilson Center might have opportunities for, monthly drop-in sessions or something like that. That may work, but I like that idea of pursuing for the students. Okay. Fostering inclusiveness. I caught that one.
Yeah, so for fostering inclusiveness, something we really try to keep in mind with all of our activities is that they are inclusive. So even though we have a focus on inclusiveness, in reality, everything we do should be inclusive. But definitely one of our highlights from last year was the Inclusive Makerspace, and Youth Commission has talked about expanding that event even more this year into maybe adding the arts in addition to just STEM. So we would maybe have music and dance to include cast a wider net, I guess, in the community. And then if we follow through with the intergenerational discussion, that will also be including all ages. So inclusiveness is just kind of a theme that we want all of our events to embody.
Except I'm sorry that I have a cookie in my mouth. I don't mean to say that, but so inclusiveness, and it's great to be thinking, because it sounds like you're thinking kind of maybe a segment of the population of students with special needs, which is very, very important. But one of the things too, like as I look around this table and everything, I'm sure that you are the kids that are involved with everything, and are in all the clubs, or you're in the leadership class. So I think that there's also I used to find this when I taught confirmation at St. Justin's for 20 years to high school students, or 20 plus years. And there was a segment of the kids that, they maybe didn't have special needs. They were kind of that great middle group of kids. But a lot of times I had the feeling that they didn't feel very included. They felt kind of like on the outside, and one of the programs that I used to volunteer at Santa Clara was specifically targeted towards kids who really weren't, they weren't, their grades weren't horrible or they weren't getting in a lot of trouble, but there was concerns about whether they were going to potentially kind of fall in the cracks a little bit. So, I mean, that would just be a thought that I would toss out there to see, even amongst the kids that are on your campus, how can more of them feel like they are really included in, whether it's the Santa Clara or Wilcox or Midi or whatever community is that you're part of.
Yeah, I'll just.
You all can jump in anytime too.
Yeah.
Just grab that microphone.
I heard something, they had back to school night for the senior parents and at Santa Clara High School just recently, and I attended, and they, the counselor, one of the counselors got up and said, asked if any of the parents had anything to suggest, as parents that they'd like to see their child experience in their senior year. And one mom stood up and she said, "My son is functioning autistic," she said, "but the one thing that I would love for him to experience in his senior year is to be able to go to the prom, to have a prom date." And oh my goodness, I mean, that just really touched me, and that this mom just was, this would mean a lot for her and for her son to experience that in his senior year. And so, just listening to what you're talking about right now about the all-inclusiveness, Caroline, and thinking about what this mom said, as leaders yourselves, I mean, if you could be on the lookout, for kids, students that are interested, they want to do something that they might not have the opportunity to do otherwise because, maybe they have, something that's holding them back as a result, to keep an eye out for those kids. And to make sure that, they maybe those dreams become a reality, not just for them, but, that their parents, know that they really fulfilled, had a fulfilling year, before they leave high school. So I'll just offer that out.
Do any other commissioners have anything they want to add about inclusiveness?
I'm Yusra Arub. I'm a youth commissioner and I go to Archbishop Midi High School. So going off of that topic and that theme of inclusiveness, I think that it's important to think about the marginalized as well in Santa Clara. Currently, Destination Home is a public-private sponsorship program that are currently being funded by Cisco as well. And they're working towards coming up with technologically based solutions to bridge the gap between the available resources that are in Santa Clara and the homeless population as well. And so we, as part of the City Council, would be interested in aligning ourselves with them to see not only how we can contribute to that technological solution, but also raise awareness of homelessness just among the general population here in Santa Clara. I have been in contact with the program manager as well, who is interested in learning more about, how we can raise awareness, as well as Jennifer Loving, who is the executive director. And so, on a more, I guess, layman's level, we can think about working closely with her, as well as maybe having activities in the library just to kind of maybe have classes or educate our students our age, maybe just to learn about what does transitionally homeless mean, and also hold classes where they can learn about how to navigate databases where all of this information and these records currently are, but not a lot of people know about it. Again, it's kind of hard to include the homeless individuals themselves, as they do prefer to stay anonymous for several reasons. But I think educating our city just about what that issue is would definitely help encourage us to act upon that and make ourselves aware.
As the homeless population increases, I think that becomes more and more important, not just educating just the students, but everyone. in Santa Clara, we've had some situations recently that there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of fear about homelessness and the individuals that are homeless that that is really unfair and as to what's happening. So, and we all know Jennifer Loving and the good work that she has done and her organization. So I think it's really, that would be very beneficial to be involved with that. It's a very good suggestion. Anyone else?
Don't be shy.
Hi, I'm Sia. So I think that one of the reasons we have such like a large homeless population is because a lot of them feel marginalized within their own homes, and so they decide to run away sometimes. And so what I've noticed is the best thing to do is start off young and develop a healthy mindset in these preteens and teens. So what I was thinking we could do is start a support group at the Northside Library, where a lot of students go. Where a lot of students go, especially where I went, and we could have something a bit more organized so that these students can talk about how they feel, and they can enter high school a very pressured situation, if you'd say yourself, with a good and a healthy mindset, and so that they can face this adversity and this stress with the healthiest mindset. And so I know that we had a woman named Alice in the library who was really sweet and sort of took care of us. And then I believe she left now. So if we could get someone else in and just make it an inclusive space, like the teen center itself, and sort of utilize it for its potential, that would be great.
Kathy?
Thank you, Sia. I've known Sia since I think you were in kindergarten, right? I believe. I think that's a wonderful idea, and I've been to the North Side in the afternoon a couple of times, and I know that it's always full. And Angela did a wonderful job with youth services, and it's a shame. I mean, she got a job offer somewhere else and she's moved on, but that's because that's how talented she was. And so I don't know if anybody has been hired to replace her. However, I'd be happy to sit down with you and maybe meet with Cheryl, the branch librarian, and just have a meeting and see what could be organized there, because I know a lot of students go there after school from Santa Clara High School. I've seen them from Don Calajon, and I'm sure there are plenty of other schools in the area that, it's a good place to just hang out and just, be yourselves for an hour or two or whatever. So we'll connect, okay, and we'll sit down and chat and see and follow up on that, okay? So thank you for bringing that idea. It's a very good idea.
Do we have any similar projects, Kathy, that you know of in Central Library, or?
I mean, I could check with Nan. Nan usually oversees the youth. Or I know Kim or Jim, do you know of anything? Or John, do you? No? Okay. Okay, we'll follow up.
Because again, as we talked about, our libraries are becoming now more community centers as well as libraries. And I don't know how many of you, if any, had an opportunity to see that we just reopened the Mission Library right here by St. Clair's and Santa Clara University. And so it has a beautiful new community room in there as well. And we're looking at the programming of that. I know it's programmed, but having another opportunity for a youth meeting space, just like the Northside Library, but if we could have it all over town so that we can accommodate, a lot of the issues of the, you're right, the healthy mind going into middle school, high school is really important. It's such a time of change and, a little uncertainty, a lot of uncertainty. And new beginnings are difficult. And if we can help in any way to provide at least a safe space for people to meet and talk about that and help and assist, I think is important. So again, it's utilizing our city and our public facilities to the maximum extent that we can help our residents and our young people.
Mayor, I think one of the young ladies has something to say. Yeah.
Yes, I'm Raksha, and I'm now part of the Northside Library Teen City Council, so I'd be happy to talk to them about a program. Yeah, so I'd be happy to talk to them about.
The Northside Library Teen City Council.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just joined that, so I'd be happy
that
to
sounds
talk
great.
to them. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think we have a lot of good ideas. So after this meeting, we'll be working on our work plan and maybe try to implement some of those themes. The next theme that Youth Commission has a goal to incorporate into our work plan for this year is youth and government. So we want to increase knowledge of local elections and politics, especially with some of Santa Clara's new changes. We think it would be great to maybe have some sort of guest speaker that would talk to the youth and the people that will almost be voting in a few years, just so they can have more information about how the process works. And we also hope to encourage voter registration and get more students, get more high school students that are 16 and 17 pre-registered to vote and 18-year-olds registered to vote before they graduate from high school.
So I don't think we have a pre-voting registration process yet for young people where you can pre-register.
For the
Has
city?
your commission worked on that yet? I think
No.
there is a program that exists for pre-registration.
Yeah, in California, you can pre-register if you're 16 or 17. So all you do is you fill out the information, and when you turn 18, you're automatically ready to vote.
Right, and I'm just suggesting that maybe your commission look at a pre-registration.
Like a drive of some sort?
Yes, for the community,
Mhm.
to get the juniors and seniors in high school to start talking about that. Vincent?
Yeah, so actually at Wilcox High School a few weeks ago, the county's registrar of voters came and did a quick registration and pre-registration drive. And I think if we, as a youth commission, did a similar thing and we partnered with the county registrar of voters to do that, that might be a good option to educate people who will be voting in future elections.
And then with the privilege of voting, we hope, like if we're encouraging people to vote, that they also have the information on how to vote and how to vote responsibly. So teach them how to look at a voter guide and learn for yourself what the propositions are, and things like that. So if there's anyone in the city that would maybe be willing to give, we're not sure like what format we want the information yet, but it would be great for the youth to hear from maybe someone in government on why it's important to vote, what responsibilities you have, and how the process itself works, especially with the new districting thing in Santa Clara.
That would be our city clerk's office,
Okay.
I think, would be, and our elections officer. I'm sure whoever that ends up being after this election would be happy to do that. Big part of the job. Right. When my daughter turned 18 and we had to register her to vote, she didn't even know where to go to get the information. So I thought, oh my gosh, your mother's in government and you don't even know where to go. There's a problem. But she was excited to vote, so and be registered. So I love the pre-registration idea, and it just needs to be more widely, distributed and education out there. Kathy?
Yes, some of you, well, if not all of you, are looking into getting your driver's licenses or your permits, correct? Because I know my daughter just got a permit recently, and one of the questions that was asked was, would you like to be pre-registered for voting when you go to get your license? And she did opt in for that, and she got a postcard in the mail saying you are pre-registered, and when you turn 18, you will, they'll notify you or they'll take some action to let you know that, to remind you. Damar, did you have something about that?
Wait, not really exactly. I just know that when I got my permit the second time around, I also got the option of being able to vote, and I think especially we should notify the kids, especially those who are wanting to drive and getting their permits soon, that they should also since the option is right in front of them, that they should also opt in to pre-register to vote as well.
I agree. Good.
I think that option is only open to people who get their permits once they're 16 years old, and I know a lot of people get them when they're 15 and a half, so that leaves out a significant portion of teens who would otherwise want to pre-register to vote.
My son just got his permit a couple weeks ago, 15 and a half, and we tried, but they said, no, you had to be 16. That's absolutely correct, yeah. Yeah. What percentage of students are getting their driver's licenses now? 1, 2 on this table?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a big student population out there that could be educated on the pre-registration.
Yeah, and we think that's a very achievable goal for Youth Commission because you just need to, make the connection with the county registrar of voters, and a drive doesn't take that much effort to organize. So I think that would be a very impactful and achievable goal for Youth Commission.
Right, and it really fits well under your youth and government priority.
And even that goes back to inclusiveness because we're including the youth in politics, which is really important. Do any other commissioners have anything they want to add for youth and government? Okay, so we'll move on to our final goal, which is promoting environmentalism. And we are thinking about doing a project at the new Santa Moss and Monroe Neighborhood Park, maybe organize a volunteer event there where we could plant things in the garden, and increase youth involvement in reducing, reusing, and recycling materials, and possibly encouraging more compost, reducing food waste, things like that. So that's another one of our themes that we hope to incorporate in our work plan, whether it be an event or an activity. Hi, Rhea.
I'm going to ask Director Teixeira, does the Youth Commission have any, or does the city have any plots or spaces for the commissioners? Planting space. Okay, so anybody else on that? Any comments, or we're all going to become master gardeners and everything else? Yes.
Yeah, so I think it would also be a good idea if we can have small farmers markets maybe on those plots that could reach out again to people that maybe can't afford as much produce, like in our supermarkets and things like that. I know that in Santa Clara there are several local individuals that are interested in reaching out to the more disparaged part of society that doesn't really have access to that much of the produce. So maybe hosting those every week or every other week would perhaps help out.
Yes, Patty.
Have you ever thought about doing gleaning? There's a group, they're called something Gleaners. They're easy to find, but they go around to private individuals. When your orange tree is just loaded with oranges, they can't possibly make enough orange juice to use them all, or your apricot tree is dropping apricots on the ground, or your fig tree or whatever. They go around and they glean the fruits and vegetables that otherwise would go to waste, and then they have a distribution system. But I'm thinking that persons of your age and vitality, unlike myself, would be really helpful to maybe partner in that sort of a program and go around to your neighborhood and just collect that stuff and get it to the right persons to get it distributed to persons who need the food.
It's a great idea.
Oh, and sorry, one more thing. Last year we had a committee for the 5K. So 2 years ago we did successfully have our 5K fun run, and our theme was kind of environmentalism and getting people outside. And last year our committee worked really hard in preparing for the event, but unfortunately we didn't get enough signups to execute the event, so we had to cancel it. which was really sad after all the work we put in. But that is something we may consider for this year, and we're wondering if you have any advice in terms of how we can better market this event, because I think the first year was successful since it was new, but then the second year there wasn't as much interest because it was kind of the same thing. So I guess we're wondering your opinion on a type of fun run promoting getting people outside and environmentalism, and if so, how we can better promote that event and add something new to it.
I remember the run last year. I was getting ready to go because I didn't find out about it. I saw it at the last minute, and I was going to go, and then it was canceled. So I think that whatever resources we have here in the city in terms of promotions and communications that we should use, and maybe that didn't happen in the past. We have a marketing committee, Debbie?
As soon as the
So, I
city
mean,
manager gives me back my marketing committee, then we can get right on that.
So, I mean, if you're going to do it and there's a date, and if we know more ahead of time, then we can push it out to all our boards and commissions and our social media and our, advertisements. We've had successful events in the city, a lot that have been promoted by the Cultural Commission, which this year combined with the Parks Department. And between the Cultural Commission communications and the Parks Commission, it was the events we had, like the street dance at the Franklin Square, was phenomenal. There were so many people because of the joint marketing of that event. So I think it's talking to the city in terms of the different departments through the Youth Commission and the Parks Commission and the Cultural Commission and the Marketing Committee and everyone to really push it out there.
And also, I would say even our private partnerships, that we have and connections with like Great America, for instance, or, Santa Clara University, getting the characters to come and be a part of it as well. That's always a fun draw, and everybody loves to have their pictures taken with them. So, I mean, we could always try and just use those relationships as well to help make it successful. And
where is the run? Where was it going to take place?
It was going to take place again in Central Park.
Oh, in Central Park.
Yeah.
And how long was the run?
A little less than a 5K. So it wasn't timed. We wanted it to be focused on more families and people of all ages. So we had toddlers and we had senior citizens all running together. It wasn't a competitive event. It was just something to get people outside and have like a fun, non-competitive race.
And Central Park is a great place to have something like that.
And there's no traffic, so yeah, we're not positive if that will be included on our work plan for this year, but we wanted it to happen last year and it didn't. So if that is something we want to do this year.
And what part of the year does this take place?
In the last 2 years, we were planning for it to be in the spring.
In the spring?
Around spring break.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when will you decide? Will you decide that whether or not you're going to do this?
We're hoping to have our work plan done tonight or at our November meeting.
Okay, so if you decide and that happens, and it's something, it's never too early to start promoting something like that.
Thank you for the advice.
Is there any street closures with that?
No.
Or
No. Stay in the park.
Yeah, it was
So you
just
stay in the park. Oh, that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Going back, can we go back for a minute to the new park on San Tomas and Monroe Street? One of the reasons we had the community gardens there is that kitty corner to that, we have a highly dense area of Santa Clara apartments. There's a lot of children that live in those apartments and others. I mean, that would be a great community to reach out to in terms of food and other things that may be produced from the community gardens to get communication with that whole area, because it is such a dense area and there's not a lot of green open space in that area. We thought building that park would be perfect. It's a neighborhood park for the folks that live in that area. So so that may be an opportunity that's right next door to help and share food and other things that are grown, flowers and other things with that community there.
That's a great suggestion. Any other commissioners want to jump in?
Yeah, I just wanted to add something. When we were talking about the run, we were mentioning that we wanted to do it on Earth Day, just to make it more environmentally like focused. There was another idea about planting seeds on the same day, like trees. I don't know if any other youth commissioner wants to add. Um, but like we wanted to combine the two, and it was just going to be one like day-long event that like would be like environmentally focused.
Yeah, adding on to that, I know like when I was little, or like, I'm sure my brother probably goes to this now, but they have like an Arbor Day in like some cities, and that's like a really big event. And I know that a lot of kids enjoyed like participating in that. So if we could do it on Earth Day or something, I feel like more kids would be willing to come out and like enjoy the day with us.
And I feel like the whole 5K run was based on like the environment, and we all wanted to like have like Earth Day and plant seeds and just base it on nature. So we thought that this 5K run would be based on, you know, coming outside, exercising, plus doing like planting seeds, connecting with our nature, like with our earth, because as teenagers we're always on our phones, technology, and so I think that was one of our like goals, was to really get out and like experience nature. So
Madam Mayor, if that just triggered an idea in my mind. Have you ever considered having it at the Ulistack Natural Area? They do an April wildflower walk day. So, I mean, you could tie it in, especially with planting, because they do a lot of that out there, the natural plants that naturally grew in this valley, that they maintain that area. And that would be, and you could actually use the Guadalupe Creek trails or the Santa Tomas Creek trails along the river there too, for your fun run in the park and out there and back into the park. And that way you could tie it with an existing event and partner with them, and probably, you know, attract all of the people that are going to Ulistack anyway, and it might get you more people involved.
Yeah, I was just going to talk about that. So when I was a kid, I went to Ulistack on Earth Day, and it was like a very nice experience. It was like a field trip, but I don't know if schools do that anymore. Like on Earth Day, go to Ulistack National Park. But even then, I feel like on Earth Day, we should have like retreats, like small high school retreats where we just like go to the Ulistack and just hang out there and just sort of like be around nature and be with our friends. And so I feel like if we can do this like frequently and just sort of like organize them within like school, like staff developmental days, then it would be another way to like sort of invigorate that whole like aspect of our city that we seem to overlook all the time. So
I wanted to say that if we decide to do a fun run, I think if we consider using the Santa Moss Trail, that's also a good option. It would be hard to start it there because it's more narrow than what we'd look at, but I run cross country on the trail at least twice a week with my teammates, and we really enjoy that route. And if we did somehow find a way to put to make a route that goes all the way up to Ulistack and end it there, I think maybe that'd be more interesting to people, and we could also incorporate it with their Earth Day celebration up there at the end of it.
Or have you thought about making it a loop, start and stop in Ulistack? I mean, you could congregate there, start there, run up, around, and back. And then people have parking there and so forth.
That's about 6 miles.
Are we able, I'm going to ask our staff to have runs on the creek trail? Like organized runs? That's a question maybe we can't answer right now, but maybe we can look into that. I don't know. Usually the runs are street level. They're not on the creek trail, but it'd be nice to know if we could. Okay, thanks. County.
Something that I would like to add for the fun run, I had this idea. I see that Lucky's comes to the City of Santa Clara Art and Wine Festival every year, and they hand out fresh fruit. So kind of what Yusra was talking about, giving out food to people that need it and others that everyone needs food. But yes, just kind of reaching out to those resources. So I think that that would be a great resource to have Lucky's come out, because I do see that they have a stand at the City of Santa Clara's Art and Wine Festival.
So for something like a run, if you're going to do that, and having other activities there is a good thing. I mean, the more you can attract, the better. So the runners and the families, yeah, for placemaking, they come and they stay, and then they, you know, if it's in Central Park or Euless or wherever it is, it's a nice place to, you know, have a picnic after and have some booths there, some information, some health, maybe health and wellness resources or something. Get Kaiser Hospital involved, and, you know, all those types of potential sponsors. But with more things to do than just the run part, so a little few more attractions that would interest you and keep, you know, if your goal is to have young people come and do the run with their families, then attractions afterwards.
There is a Euless Day. There's an annual Euless Day, and it is sometime in the spring. Well, it's usually they have music. They talk about the park and the historic nature of the park, and they may do some planting as they're out there as well. But it may be possible to maybe work with that group as well if we could find out when exactly it is. I'm quite certain it is in the springtime, and they have different booths out there as well, and they get a very good turnout. But it's a Euless Day.
Well, I think you have a lot to think about in terms of that and what's easiest for you to get it done, because it sounds like you have I know we're going to have to leave this room pretty soon. Yeah. They have to put it together for the study session, but there's a lot on your plate, I see already. Teresa, did you have something? Oh.
We do have a lot of ideas on here, and this is even pared down from our initial brainstorming session. So it's been very hard to take things off because a lot of us feel so passionately about different issues in the community. But we'll try to focus on the ones we feel most strongly about rather than spreading ourselves too thin, so we can actually accomplish a few things. And then just another note, not directly related to the work plan, but last year Youth Commission got to help give input on 2 city projects, one being the International Swim Center and the other being the Central Park, like plans for Central Park in the future. And we really appreciated that opportunity to be included in that discussion and give some feedback on what the youth would like to see. So if other opportunities like that arise in the future, we would like to be included again. So we thank you.
So you also give us really good input when we were talking about commercial developments coming to Santa Clara. I don't know if you remember that, but on what you'd like to see in the common areas and the retail areas of the mixed-use projects and the type of tenants you wanted to see in some of the buildings. And I think that was really helpful for us to pass on to developers as to what you'd like to see in those projects. But we also have, Councilmember Davis just mentioned, the potential, our 30 to 35 acre park in North Santa Clara as part of the City Place project. So I think we're going to be coming to you and asking you for your input on what you'd like to see out on that 35 acre park as part of the City Place larger development, which is now the city's golf course in Santa Clara. So we call it, for lack of a better name, Central Park North right now. And I'm sure we'll be looking for names, but having that park connect with all our trail system, and it could be something pretty fabulous out there. So we're going to be looking for a lot of input, including yours on that. Great. And then we have a Comic-Con. Did I say that already? This Saturday. So make sure
I think
you're
some
all there.
commissioners are volunteering at that, right?
It's a huge endeavor with a lot of volunteers needed. It starts at 10 o'clock on Saturday. Central Park Library. It's an all-day thing. It's really fun. Yeah. So thank you to those who are volunteering and getting involved. And if you're not volunteering, hopefully you'll attend.
Great way to get your community service hours up to date.
So do we have any parting words, comments, anything?
On October 19th, we have a Sunset Cinema at Live Oak Park if you guys would like to join us.
Oh.
Up by the Northside Library.
Showing?
You said Live Oak Park, right?
Live Oak Park, yes.
Sean, what are we showing?
Do you know what we're showing?
What time is that?
Oh, just in time for Halloween. Yes.
What time is it? It's sunset? What time is it? Oh, 7 o'clock.
7 to 8.
October 19th. Is that a Friday?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but it said it here, look.
Now, you've had a few of those, right?
Yeah, we had 8 last year, and they've been pretty successful each time we've had them in a different area of the community. So hopefully everyone in the city feels included at those events. They're free, and popcorn and juice are $1 each, and all of that money is just going to our community service scholarship fund. So we've had a pretty good turnout, and we hope to continue to have a good
Do
turnout.
you have a flyer for it, or is something online? I know okay, good, because then I can get out to the Rivermark community and the Northside community. That'll be good.
We also have a flyer, like a schedule with all the other Sunset Cinema. So we'll forward all that information to you. Yeah.
So we can help market and advertise and encourage people to come to all your events.
Thank you.
I was just going to say one more thing. You know, several of you did mention that you're seniors, and so you're going to be applying for college very soon. And if any of you, I know how hard you all work, you're giving your time, you know, to the city, to your community. If there's something that we can do to help you, like in terms of maybe a letter of reference or something that you need for your applications, please don't hesitate. Just contact us through the mayor and council, and, you know, we would be happy to help you out in that respect. So please don't hesitate, okay?
Okay, is there anything else? Well, we want to thank you so much for bringing us up to speed, what you're doing with your work plan. We fully support it. We've got some really great things that you're looking at, and thank you for everything you did for those of you who were here last year, for all the accomplishments from last year. I think you're a very busy and progressive and enthusiastic commission. So we look forward to working together with you, and please don't hesitate to contact us at all if there's things that you need, or if you'd like to come to the council meeting. Maybe I'll talk to your chair about, we do this with the Cultural Commission. They come when they have special events. Well, they come once a month, but if you have a special event that you would like to announce in the beginning at our council meeting, there are people that watch it and people that attend, that we can advertise you know, what you're doing, and to get more people involved in your activities. So keep that in mind when you're planning your activities. If you'd like to announce it, you know, a Tuesday night at a council meeting, we'd be happy to have you on our agenda.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you all for your time, and we appreciate your input on our work plan.
Thank you.
So we'll
And
give you an update soon.
And if there's any pizza left, feel free to go. You're probably hungry from sitting here for the last hour. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's all gone.
What happened to you? Oh, my grandpa.